In this video, I'm testing out the Philips 3000 series dual basket air fryer, so let's get started. The Philips dual basket air fryer was another Black Friday deal I found on Amazon. It's model number NA350. Inside the box you'll find the cord storage holder, which will need to be attached to the back. Align all the clips to the slots on the air fryer, then push it in until you hear all the clips click in properly. This also forces you to keep the unit away from the wall as it serves as a spacer between them. The air fryer has a slightly slanted design from back to front, so I'll do some rough measurements from the back. It's just over 12 inches tall, about 15 inches wide. Sorry, my camera went out of focus here. Measuring the depth from the cord storage to the handle, it's about 15 inches, let's say. The cord holder adds on about 3 inches. The cord length measures 34 inches. The total capacity for the air fryer is 9.5 quarters or 9 liters, and it weighs just under 8 kilos. We have a 6.3 quarter basket with another removable basket inside this. This is for cooking larger amounts of food, and there is a 3.2 quarter basket which has a removable crisper tray. This tray thankfully has removable silicone tabs, making it easier to clean any trapped grease under them. This smaller basket is ideal for sides, snacks or smaller portions. The baskets have a somewhat metallic finish rather than the usual smooth matte finish, and it has the raised swirly design at the bottom of the base, which someone kindly pointed out in my video review of the Philips 4-quarter air fryer. This design is on all Philips models because they believe it allows for better heat circulation. I, however, don't believe it makes any difference at all. As always, before you begin using the air fryer, give it a good wipe using a damp cloth or paper towel. Since it has a flat top, I like to flip it over carefully if you can to clean the heating elements. Since the display panel is on the top for this air fryer, I'm going to take an extra cautious step and lay down a towel to prevent any damage or scratches to the display while I clean the inside. Also wipe down the exterior with a damp cloth and wash out all the baskets and trays. Then run the air fryer for at least 20 minutes on the highest setting. For this one it's 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once done, remove the baskets and let the air fryer air out. This helps remove any lingering plastic smell instead of keeping it all inside the air fryer. Every air fryer I've used so far has a plastic smell, especially in the first few uses, but doing this will help get rid of it faster. The LED control panel is bright and big. They've spread out all the controls so it doesn't look cluttered. When you switch it on, both basket 1 and 2 will display, prompting you to select a basket. Press basket 1 and the time and temperature will show above basket 1 only. Use the arrows on the left side to adjust the temperature. The highest is 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Use the arrows on the right side to change the time, which goes up to a maximum of 60 minutes. There are 8 presets to choose from: frozen potato snacks like fries or hash browns, fresh fries or potatoes, meat chops, chicken drumsticks, whole fish, veggies, cake and reheat. If I select the wrong preset by mistake, I'll have to press the back arrow to select another preset time. If I want baskets 1 and 2 to cook the same, then I'll select the copy setting. Select any of the baskets to enable the shake reminder. Then press start to begin cooking. You can adjust the settings on any of the presets you select, whether it's the time, temperature or shake reminders. If you want both baskets to cook differently but finish cooking at the same time, press the time function here. This will sync both the baskets. If I open one of the baskets, it will auto pause and resume once I close it. The other basket, however, will continue cooking. For my first test, I made a cheese toastie, or grilled cheese as my kids like to call it. Using sourdough bread, I spread mayo on the outsides and filled it with mozzarella and cheddar cheese. Then placed it in basket 1 and it fit in perfectly. In basket 2 I made French toast. Unfortunately I can only fit 2 slices of regular white bread like so. I set the timer for basket 1 at 360 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes and basket 2 set at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 minutes. I enabled the shake reminder on both baskets. Partway, I decided to increase the temperature to 400 degrees Fahrenheit for both of them because they were not close to browning at all. I also had to increase the time for French toast. But my French toast got a little darker on one side. Next time for my French toast, I'll just use 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. For my cheese toastie, 12 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit works best. I cooked chicken breast in the smaller basket, which I preheated first for 5 minutes. I added my veggies, potatoes and broccoli in the bigger basket, but I didn't preheat it. For basket 2, I selected the veggie preset, which was 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. And for basket 1, I selected the chicken drumsticks setting, which is the closest preset, and that's 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 28 minutes. I also selected the time button so that I could sync the end times and they both finish at the same time. The drumstick setting does not auto-enable the turn reminder, so I made sure to turn it on because I do want to flip it halfway. Then press the start button. With 10 minutes left on the timer, I checked on my veggies. My broccoli was done, so I took them out. I selected basket 2 and reduced the remaining time for the potatoes to 5 minutes because they also looked like they were almost done. The moment I changed the time icon disappeared because now the baskets are not synced and they won't finish at the same time. I checked again on my potatoes when I had 3 minutes left on the clock, and it was a good thing that I did because they were perfect. I took all my potatoes out and closed the basket, but I couldn't figure out how to turn off basket 2. I don't think there is a way, so I just selected basket 2 and pressed the pause button, so only basket 1 was running. I checked on my chicken with 5 minutes left on the timer and it looked wonderful. Checking the internal temperature and it was done. I let the chicken rest for 5 minutes and oh my goodness, you guys, these potatoes were cooked to perfection. The skin was crispy and the potatoes were so fluffy. The broccoli was a little charred, but they worked. They still had a crunch to them and I think I took them out at the right time. I also sprinkled on a tiny bit of Parmesan cheese. But the chicken was so good. It was so juicy and tender. Just take a look at it, you guys. I have to bring you closer to it because it is so juicy. Take a look at that. If you guys would like to use my recipes, I share everything on my Facebook page, and I also have a dedicated air fryer group on Facebook where I post all my recipes. If you want to check them out, I'll leave links in the description. The smaller basket is great for making snacks. I added some mozzarella sticks and set the time for 390 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 minutes, enabling the shake reminder to turn them halfway. After 8 minutes, the mozzarella sticks were gooey and perfect, and I got them just in time before any cheese started oozing out of them. I can fit a Cornish hen into the smaller basket. This was just under 2 pounds. I set the timer for 30 minutes, but let it preheat for 5 minutes before placing it in breast side down. When possible, I like to preheat the basket when cooking meat or chicken. I just find it locks in the juices and it also cooks much faster. I started with a lower temperature of 360 degrees Fahrenheit, then increased the temperature after 25 minutes to 390 degrees Fahrenheit for another 15 minutes. At the same time, I added some frozen vegetables to basket 2 and cooked them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, first for 5 minutes before seasoning them and adding them back in again for another 10 minutes. Once done, my Cornish hen looked great with a perfectly crisp skin, and the veggies were also done at the same time. Unfortunately, they were cut so small that most of them fell through the basket holes. My Cornish hen was really tender and you can just see the juices glistening as I cut through the leg here. Let's go through my accessories to see what I can fit in the baskets. For the bigger 6/4 basket, unfortunately I can't fit in my favorite 8-inch round pan with handles. It's a shame because the inner basket has wasted all this space. There's at least an inch on all sides, I would think. if I take out the basket, I still can't get an 8-inch pan without handles in it. The biggest round pan is a 7-inch, and that's placing it in the inner basket. These foil pans are great and can also be used in the air fryer. I have a silicone egg mold, which is an Instant Pot brand, the same as this silicone egg rack. I only had 2 available to show, but I can fit in 4 ramekin bowls comfortably. These are 4 inches in diameter. I can only fit in one of my 5-inch round pans. I can fit in a 6x3 loaf pan, but I can't fit in a 8x4 loaf pan, unless if I take out the inner basket, but then it's not stable because of the raised swirly pattern, which is a bit of a downfall. I can probably lay it down the other side, but that just makes it very snug and might be hard to pull out once it has food in it or if it's hot. I can get 2 of the 6x3 pans in for sure. Moving on to the smaller basket, I can't fit in the 8x4 loaf pan. I can only fit in my 6x3 pan. Wrapping this up with some of my key observations. Firstly, the idea of a basket inside a basket made no sense to me. But not only that, the design of the inner basket is what really had me stumped. The side flaps seems a waste of valuable space, and the heavy-duty silicone feet that are screwed in makes it impossible to remove and clean underneath them. Although I realized later on that the side flaps are there to prevent the incorrect placement of the tray, but you know what? A simple arrow or marking would have been a better solution. When you measure the outer basket, it's about 9.5 inches wide, but the inner basket measures around 8 inches, so it really does waste a lot of space. The control panel doesn't have familiar cook modes like air fry, bake, roast or broil, so you do have to do some guesswork matching it to the closest preset that you can find. It's also a shame that there's no broil option, which is a setting I use often when making cheese recipes. There isn't a recipe book, but there is an app that has a handful of recipes. While the option to have my cooking end at the same time for both baskets, I am going to admit that syncing different foods is tricky unless you've mastered it. It's fine for similar items, but I always find I have to adjust the time somewhere along the lines, causing the time function to disappear, and my food ends up being off by a few minutes when cooking different dishes. On the plus side, it's quiet when running and it has soft beeps. The design doesn't make it look bulky, but the control panel on top is not ideal because it does attract a lot of dust. Plus, I have to be extra careful by placing a towel down to prevent any damage to it if I decide to flip it over to clean the heating elements. Cleaning the baskets and tray are fairly easy, though the swirly design can make it a bit awkward. Performance-wise, I find it's not as powerful as other air fryers I've used. For example, chicken breast took 23 minutes instead of the usual 15 minutes, and fish fillets took 18 minutes versus the typical 10 to 12 minutes. Cornish hen took 40 minutes, whereas some air fryers can cook a full-sized chicken in 35 minutes with a golden finish. This might be why it runs quieter. The heat circulation doesn't seem as strong. Finally, these are not big deal breakers but are worth mentioning. You can't change the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. I tried pressing all the buttons, but they haven't added this as a feature. Unlike some of the other dual air fryers I've used, when using the syncing time feature, the screen doesn't display hold or any indication for the basket that hasn't started cooking yet. It does take time to get used to it, and it cooks well at a slower rate. If you're looking for a quiet dual basket air fryer that doesn't look too bulky on your counter, this might still be a good fit for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the review useful. If you are new to my channel, do consider subscribing. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I hope to catch you in my next video.